What's going on, traders? Hope all of you guys had an amazing weekend and are ready to come back and trade with us once again. In this video, I'll be breaking down a few setups I have my eyes on for the week ahead, starting off with the GBPJPY. Now, these setups, I believe, have a high probability of playing out only if the criteria meets the setup. Okay, so I'll let you guys know what I mean. Let's start off on the weekly time frame on GBPJPY. So on the weekly time frame, we can see that the overall trend is being pushed towards the upside. However, last week we just formed a bearish engulfing the previous three candlestick formations, or you can even say four candlesticks right here. However, we still maintained a closure above the 150 level, which is a nice psychological round number for GBPJPY. We had a spike through but failed to maintain below, and we see this blue moving average, which is acting as a nice level of resistance. So because of this one simple candlestick, I'm not going to change my bias to sells. Instead, I'm just going to continue to follow the overall uptrend and see if price can continue to push towards the upside. So with looking at the weekly time frame, we are already able to establish the overall direction and our overall bias for GBPJPY, which is an uptrend. Now on the daily time frame, we can identify market structure being formed. Now it might be a little bit difficult to see. So what I like to do when it's in cases like this, I like to go on the line chart. Let's take this off for a moment, and we can see market structure being formed a bit more clearly now. Okay, so we can see right here, if I just zoom into price action, we can see right here we have a low in the market. We pushed up to create a higher high. Now we push down below to create a new higher low, a higher high, and we see prices now sitting at the 150 level, and we see it starting to reject and push towards the upside. So what we're going to do now, we've established that market is now at a higher low point, and we're looking for that new higher high to occur. We can also add another confluence on this by using our fib tool, looking at the low up to the high right here, and we can see that the 71% rejected off very nicely on GBPJPY, and also we can see that the momentum was very strong right here. We had a bearish engulfing after the two dojis right here, bearish engulfing, Maribozu, because we saw continued drop off, but it was at this point at 150 where we saw the momentum starting to die down, and we starting to see a potential reversal occur, looking at this small momentum move. So we can expect more upside to occur on GBPJPY. Now what I would like to see on GBPJPY is very simple. Now let me just delete this real quick. So obviously we're expecting a new higher high to occur, but obviously there needs to be certain things to line up for us to be able to execute this position. With trading, there always needs to be an if and then statement, and if and then setup. So something needs to occur for it to confirm the setup that you're on. You're not just gonna enter off of this position because something could invalidate your setup. For example, if GBPJPY has a daily closure below the 150 level, then we could expect price to continue to push down a bit lower before continuing to push up higher. However, my setup is telling me that the 150 level is going to hold. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look for a entry setup right here. So, and I see right here where we see a nice level of support resistance. Okay, let me just drag this a bit further. Okay, so we see this level. So we had a wick rejection right here. We broke above, acted as a nice level of support here as well. It broke down below, resistance, support. We acted as a level of support here as well. We broke down below, acted as a level of resistance. So what I would like to see on GBPJPY is very simple. I would like to see price have a nice 4-hour closure above this level, because once we're able to have a closure above this level, we can then add another confluence to this setup, wait for that retest to confirm. So something like this. So how we see price right over here, how we have a closure above, then the retest, and then we see price jump towards the upside. I want to see something like this occurring right here. This is another example of what I want price to occur. So I want to see price have a closure above, retest, and right here is where we will be looking to execute our buy trade. Now our take profit can be somewhere around this area because there is a small level of resistance right here. So we can aim around this area, but overall our target is going to be at 152.500. So our take profit can stay at 152.500, but we do want to be very, very careful when price reaches around this area right here. Okay, so once prices reaches around here, we want to see how price action develops. If we're seeing some bears enter the market, we could, I personally will most likely exit manually. Okay, so our take profit will be at 152.500, and our stop loss can be nice and right here, giving us a nice, beautiful risk reward ratio of around 1 to 5.5. We can even make it a 1 to 5 and still have a nice, generous stop loss of 33 pips. Giving the price some room to breathe just in case we see price in drawdown. However, this seems like a very good trade for me right now. We have multiple confluences lining up saying that GBPJPY will push it towards the upside, and our entry setup looks very nice as well because we're using the break and retest method. Now, the second setup I want to share with you guys is EURJPY. Now, EURJPY is pretty good as well. It goes in line with GBPJPY as we are expecting yen weakness. Now, on the weekly time frame, we can see that the overall trend is firstly bullish. Okay, last week we had a nice bullish candlestick following through with the previous two bullish weeks. So we had a bullish candlestick followed by another bullish and another bullish pin bar. I want to see price continue to push towards the upside, especially now that price is able to maintain a closure above 130, which is a nice key level as well. Now, we see this price is acting as a nice level of support right here. However, as you guys can see, price did manage to make a new high. So if we were to look at this wick right here, we can see price actually spiked and hit 130.691, making new highs for EURJPY. So that tells me that price is still in an uptrend and is still in the process of making new highs. So we're going to be looking for that buy trade. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, we're just going to be using a simple break retest on this. We have around 2 or 3 confluences on EURJPY. Obviously, GBPJPY has a better chance of playing out because of the confluences. However, I'll still be keeping an eye on EURJPY as well. So for this, we're waiting for a closure above, retest, and a continued push towards the upside. Risk reward on this is going to be a 1, 2, 3. The last setup I want to share with you guys is USDCAD. So I am short on USDCAD, and again, so let's start off on the weekly time frame. Let me just take everything off here. You can see that the overall trend is bearish as the CAD continuously is beating the USD in strength. Okay, so last week we had a nice bearish shooting star being formed, respecting this blue moving average, which, as you guys can see, is acting as a nice dynamic level of resistance. So I'm expecting more downside to occur on USD CAD. Dropping down on the daily time frame, we're able to identify bearish market structure. Okay, so I've done it right here. Let me just quickly delete some of this. So we can see right here, I've made some illustrations right here with this circle. We have a high in the market. We push down to create a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, and we see now price is making a new lower high, and we've established this new lower high actually, and we see price is now pushing towards the downside. Now this is going to be a very, very interesting pair, and I have high hopes for USD CAD as I want to see price continue to push lower. Another confluence we can add on this is obviously our fib tool, and we can see the 71% had a perfect we had tapped into the 71% and we had a perfect rejection, and we see price is now pushing towards the downside. We did have a retracement, so if we were to drop down on the 4-hour time frame, we can see a little bit of market structure being formed right here, how we had a rejection, right? We pushed down, high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price broke market structure, but then again, we're starting to see market structure being formed as well. Now on USD CAD, again, so simple break and retest as well is going to be a very effective entry setup. So this level that I have drawn on was a previous level of support and still is acting as a level of support. So you guys can see right here, support, broke below, resistance, 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 wasn't able to hold, broke above, support, and support, support. So what I would like to see on USD CAD is I'd like to see a continued push towards the downside, okay, something like this, and then we can look for around we can look for a pullback to occur to this level, and anywhere in this level actually would be a very good potential sell setup. So anywhere around this level could be a very good place to be looking for that sell position, okay? But in this setup, I'll be looking for price to come up into here take profit will be down here, 1.24. The reason why my target's down here is because on the daily time frame, this was the low. Okay, so I'm expecting a new lower low to occur for the market structure. However, I want to see that our short-term target is going to be the low of the market. So we see price at 1.24 holding nicely. So I want to see price come back down into this level. And our stop loss can be something like this, giving us a nice 1 to 4.5 risk reward ratio, or even a 1 to 4. It just depends on how price action develops. Okay, guys. So that's pretty much it. So USD CAD has a phenomenal setup as well. Now to end things off, I want to quickly say that make sure you guys are using risk management for first. Make sure you guys are being patient, and make sure you guys are following the entry setup that I've provided. Okay, you don't want to be entering a bit too early or a bit too late. And there's always a possibility that the trade would hit stop loss even if our entry setup lines up. Therefore, it's important that you're always using risk management, okay? Always use risk management. Okay, guys, so that's pretty much it. And I'll see you guys next time.